like I say, some particles they retain their heat really well, or something like that. Once they're hot, I forget exactly how it works exactly. But like I said, the LSL shell when it goes off, like it may explode after a while. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, it's been years since I had any knowledge of these things or had any involvement with these things. I mean, I use them for basically for pretty much basically for creating stars. You know, that's what I use them for, and for creating life form, habitable planets, habitable worlds for life forms. Like so, that's what I use them for. You know, and basically they're kind of hard to make. I mean, they're a little expensive, but I mean, in space they're perfectly safe. You know, they don't really because it's a little bit different. You know, but they basically you use them to create. They're not really a weapon. It's for creating planets and stuff like that. Anyway, they might explode after a while. I'm not exactly sure. They basically become a big blob of a hot metal, basically in space, and you can use them pretty well safely. I mean, like I said, the uranium. I mean, the dense metal. You know, I mean. It's for doing something. It's actually a tool that you use for actually like doing planetary and space kind of stuff. You know, it's not really. They're not really meant to be used on the ground. I mean, they're basically a piece of history. You know, pretty much a piece of how we got created or how this planet got created. It goes back to hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years, basically. You know, it's old technology, long before even there was a Germany, basically. We use these shells to basically, you know, it creates this pretty much. You know, you use them if you want to build like a planet. You use them for that. You use it for that basically. That's what they're for. They're not really supposed to be used in a tank. That's a little crazy. They're how radioactive and how dangerous they are. Well, they're incredibly dangerous, but they're anyway, they're old technology, like probably 1920s, 1940s, 1950s, something like that. Anyway, it's even possible that the little pieces of metal would actually burn through tanks with thousands of pinholes. The Japanese called it 1,000 paper cuts because the individual little molecules that go out. You know, I mean you could ask the Chinese about them. They said it was the weapon that caused 1,000 paper cuts. But it's not a paper cut. It's a little. It's like getting hit by 1,000 needles or something like that. That's you'd probably look in China or Japan and you'd see the weapon of 1,000 needles or something like that. You might look it up under that, basically. But 1,000 needles or something like that, or 1,000 paper cuts. You'd probably find reference to it there. It's not really a weapon. It's for creating stars and stuff like that. It's basically a nuclear reaction that actually leads to the creation of star systems, basically. Big fusion reactions in space. It's a stable reaction, so or something like that. It gets enough heat by the time it launches and everything. It gets enough heat that basically it'll turn into a giant fusion reactor eventually, or something. I mean, the ones I used were a little bit bigger, and everyone would be like, Brian, my name is Lucifer Star. That's why I had these things. So, not really Brian. Anyway, like I say, they're not really a tank round. There's a lot safer way to do stuff. Anyway, as far as radioactivity, yeah, well, I mean, the thing about these things is that what makes them so dense is magnetics and all that other stuff, and it's really complicated and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of idiots out there that really didn't know anything about what the hell they were messing around with or knew anything about anything, and they just found a warehouse and basically got inside and found what looked like a shell. And then they decided to fire it out of a cannon. They had no idea what it was or what it was for. And yeah, you know, I mean, anyway, basically the heat and the reaction will basically burn up all the metal. I mean, all the metal will turn into heat pretty much, and basically it'll, you know, just like if you look at the top of a smelting pot, you see all those little pieces of metal flying off and stuff. Well, that's basically what it does. So, I don't know about radioactivity. It's more of just a hot molecule or whatever particle. It'll basically put holes in everything pretty much. So Yeah, and violent, fast reactions. But basically, anything that's near it when it goes off would be dead, pretty much. And like I said, Zacory killed about 250 or 75,000 people, or something like that, or 3,000, 4,000, something like that. The whole party died. Everybody in the party, everybody that was near the party. Um, anyway, yeah. It happened in 1940, 1950, 1960. They killed a lot of people basically by accident, pretty much. I guess they say it's an accident. I don't know. Some people said it was on purpose. They grabbed the shells. They grabbed all the information that was there. Them because, like I said, it takes like 15 or 25 feet or 35 feet before this shell became dangerous. And then when that happened, everybody to the sides of the shell basically died, and also the target, of course. But there wasn't that many people up by the cannon because it was loud. So most of the people were downrange a little bit further, and then so everybody downrange. I mean, it went through the stands, it went through everything. It went through the cars, it went through the blocks and the cars, it went through everything. Thousands of little needle marks. The gas tanks were leaking fuel slowly, but I mean, everything, even the hoses even the electrical wires. I think maybe the music. I don't know. They made a movie about it. Or they made a program about what happened, and then kind of reenacted it. Basically, they showed the electricity, the electrical equipment frying, basically because everything had thousands of millions of little needle marks in it. Billions, trillions of needle marks. Anyway, so yeah, that's what happened at Zachary's party, Bill Gates' party, or whatever. Like I said, a bunch of people died. A lot of children, a lot of kids, some other people, some government officials or something like that. I don't know. They were going to show off this shell or something. The Germans knew what it was. I mean, I knew what it was. A lot of people knew what it was. So basically, young kids, pretty much, just being stupid. They didn't even tell. Nobody. They were just going to show off this thing. They thought it was like a fireworks or like an incendiary round. I guess maybe they had fired off some other cannon rounds, and they were just working down the line until they got to the to the LSL shell, basically. LS. Anyway, so that's what happened. And like I said, it was in the news. People were wondering, I mean, there's nothing you could do for the people. Even some of the people that lived, I mean. They took them to the hospital, and like there's nothing that they can do. Their skulls actually had little needle marks in them. It went right through the body, went through everything. Some people were blind forever from it. I don't know. I mean, you should look it up. It's really interesting, actually. What happened is basically the stupidity of some young kids, pretty much. I had nothing to do with it, of course. People say I did or something, but no, I didn't. If I had, I would have told him, "What the fuck are you doing? You can't fire that thing off." And I think one of the older people actually did say, "You can't fire that thing off." And they're like, "Yeah, right. Shut up, old man." And pushed it, and he left because he knew what it was. I think there were a couple people that knew something about it and actually said, "You can't fire that thing off." And somebody had a gun and was like, "Yeah, right. What are you gonna do about it?" So he just left, I think, or something like that. Like, I mean, they were going to shoot him. So, and he probably should have done more to stop him. But basically, they were pretty much kids with guns, so they would have killed him anyway. And I think they had killed quite a few people already with their guns or something like that. And they were about to kill everybody else, and they didn't even know it. Like I said, those were their friends. Those were people that they liked, or that liked them. Anyway, I guess they would need a new set of friends out when they were done. So, anyway, yeah, a bunch of people there. A lot of cute girls died that day. A lot of people died. A lot of supposed rich people. A lot of other people. Zacory was the biggest mass murderer in 1 second, than 1 millisecond, than most people could accomplish in a whole lifetime. That's probably why he changed his name to Bill Gates.